the department does do a good job keeping the rest of the road in really good condition, excellent condition, actually. The novel idea of getting the Minister of Education involved in this, I will definitely pursue, and I appreciate that input from the Minister. I don't know if the Minister of Education appreciates that or not, but I do appreciate that. And I will ensure that I send all the correspondence I sent to you, which was substantial in this regard, to the Minister of Education to see if he can come up with some kind of a solution. And I know what his answer will probably be, but anyway, we'll wait till he has the opportunity to make the replies. There's another one that you're very, very familiar with too, and this has been a long-standing, ongoing issue, is a drainage or lack of drainage easement in Teresa Court in Lake Echo. It's been an ongoing problem, and the correspondence we've had back and forth, and I know there's a tremendous amount of streets that you deal with and problems like this you deal with on a daily basis, and just to refresh your memory on it, what happened in the 70s, they built a subdivision in Teresa Court is one street in that area, and they put a drainage system in and paved the road and put culverts in and curbs, the whole 9 yards, which is unusual at that time in history that there would be curbs. Now, what's transpired because of that, well, the way the water came down, they dumped it into one manhole, and the manhole just dumped onto the properties, adjacent properties, and then through there onto down near the number 7 highway, underneath the number 7 highway, and through and down to a lake. The problem there's been, and for whatever reason at the time, and who knows at the time, but the municipality through the then councillor decided to put a pipe on the end of this drain, which really shouldn't have happened, and get the water away from a particular property. And because of that, everything in the other end of that pipe, well, number one, when they put the pipe in, they never put a screen over it, which has been done since then. I don't know if your staff did it or the municipality did it, but whoever did it was greatly appreciated to stop kids getting in this, because it's a big drain pipe. I think it's 36 or 40-inch drain pipe, so it's quite big, and children could have got caught in it, but that has been resolved, and if your department did that, I appreciate that very much. But basically what's happened is people's homes that never were flooded in the basement before are flooded. There's put a tremendous amount of water down past the fire department and caused water problems with their well. Actually, a brand new well they've got in and caused problem with the well. It's caused potential fecal contamination in some other wells, the way this water goes, and it just spreads out all over the place. And then as it goes through, and I have the documentation to back this up as well, then as it goes down through, it dumps into another manhole and underneath the road and across the property. And the gentleman who owns that property is very irate about the whole thing, because he has an approval to build on that lot, and has had the approval for many years prior to all this excess water being dumped on his property. The way it's structured right now, he cannot build on that property because of all this water going on the property. The way it was originally, there was a minor amount of water go occasionally through there, and it could be dealt with. But now there's so much water, the lot is actually useless for him. To the point, he went and appealed his property taxes some years ago, and they put the value of the lot down to $1,500. Now, a lot in Lake Echo on the number 7 highway is probably worth minimum $50,000 now. Anything you can build on. So it's caused a real financial loss for him personally, and the lot below him, the same situation, which is on Robina Court. It's also caused a problem there. I know this is a difficult situation, very difficult one to resolve, but if the water could be redirected, I think that the people in the area would give easements through the properties to either put it down through the properties and go another route, so it would eliminate all the drainage problems for all the houses in that area and below that area. I think, and I'm just going by memory here, and I could be wrong with this number, I think the cost of doing this, besides any easement costs you would have preparing the documentation with no cost to buy easements, I don't think that's appropriate. At one point, it was around $26,000 or $27,000 to fix this. The damage that's been caused by this has been incredible, just incredible. And it was, again, before the minister was involved in the Department of Transportation, this all transpired. Is there anything we can do to redirect this water or work with the community. I know I've talked to the Department of Environment about it already, and we've had water tests done on the wells, and we're doing some more. But there is a serious problem here, and this thing has to be fixed, if for no other reason than the health problems, never mind the drainage problems and the flooding problems that has caused people in their properties. And I've got documentation to prove that these homes were not flooded before this water was directed in this area. And it was actually a daycare in one building that operated for years that simply could not be operated there today, and there was a convenience store in the bottom of another one that couldn't be operated today because of the flooding. Is there any possible solution the minister might be able to offer for that situation?
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is a very unfortunate set of circumstances. This is an old subdivision that came into being in a sort of a haphazard fashion, and the proper drainage water courses were not what the natural drainage system would be. In other words, in the design of the subdivision, they diverted water through courses, through different courses than the natural courses, and finally, of course, they've ended up with a problem in that the majority of the water now is being diverted from what were the natural water courses into the man-made ones. I don't know what the answer is, but what I will do today, Mr. Chairman, is I'll give a commitment on behalf of the department that we will take a look at it. I don't know. It may be possible to get the municipality involved in this as well, and see if there is a solution. Again, it's a very complex problem to resolve because simply there's nowhere to put the water today.
Thank you, Minister. The Honourable Member for Preston.
I do appreciate the minister's response, and I know the minister, when he says he'll do something, it will be done. There's no question. The issue on the drainage is, at one time we talked to Mr. Van Slyke in your department, who was very, very helpful in this regard, and has been trying to do things, and he's had difficulty getting a surveyor some time from a surveying to come in and do some surveying to check the patterns that need to be done to get the water rediverted. And I can assure the minister that I'll do everything in the community to get support from the residents in the area as well that I can do to help the department get this resolved, because I think that in this situation everybody will win if we can get this thing resolved. And I will add, while I was regional councillor, I committed to $10,000 from the discretionary capital fund I had at that time towards repairing this problem. Now, I can't speak for the present councillor because it's his discretion where these monies are spent, but it might be something that you could pursue again, and there's documentation to back that up, which would definitely help resolve the cost and the problem. So I do appreciate the minister's openness and willingness to hopefully resolve this problem. I've just got a couple of other questions, and I'm going to turn it over to one of my other colleagues, and I don't have much time left here. But the aid to municipalities, for subdivision paving, and I know for a period of about 3 years for budgetary reasons, and I can understand why you eliminated that program and now you have it back in place again. Could you just briefly go over what you planned for now for this year, the aid to municipalities, the subdivision, again this is subdivision street paving, so people understand what we're talking about here, where it's cost share between the municipality, and in this case in the regional municipality, as you said earlier, is by the abutting property owners rather than the municipality through the general tax rate. And is there going to be more monies for this as you move forward and try to continually improve your budget for the Department of Transportation?
Thank you, Member. The Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is a program, Mr. Chairman, which was put in place to take care of those subdivisions that were put in place before the requirement for the contractor to to have paved roads in subdivisions. And these roads are called J-class roads, and we initiated a program about 2 or 3 years ago whereby we allocated $1 million a year provincially if it was cost shared by $1 million from the municipal units. The municipal units were approached and each year submit to the department a priority list of their streets listed in the priority that they give to those streets, so that we simply start at the top and work down the list. The program, as I said, is $1 million for the province. It is $1 million this year, and there's no intent to increase that amount next year. But following that, possibly, if more money becomes available, we will increase the amount. In some municipalities, the municipal share is paid by the municipality. In other municipalities, the municipal share is assessed against those who have frontage on that J-class road. And we have no control over that. That is up to the municipality. We just simply say, we will pay half, municipality, you come up with the other half, and whether they get it from those with frontage, or whether it comes out of the municipal coffers, really doesn't enter into the equation with the province.
Thank you, Minister. The member for Preston.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. It's this has been an ongoing problem, of course, before the municipality, and particularly the Halifax Regional Municipality. I can't speak for any other municipality because I'm not familiar with their process or how many roads they have to do. But when I was a regional councillor, the municipality did a study and proved that the cost of paving these roads, and they didn't change the policy, by the way, unfortunately, it very quickly is paid back to the whoever's maintaining the road. And a lot of the roads in the area that I'm familiar with are maintained by the province of Nova Scotia. And there's some roads in particular that are very, very bad shape. The gravel roads that have to be a lot of work. And Mr. Delaney is sitting beside you. He very well knows those roads because I brought them to his attention many times in the past. So anything that can add to the amount of money that the province puts into that is definitely a bonus for all taxpayers. And a lot of people don't realize it, because if you have your vehicles struggling to maintain a road, that means that the potholes on the main highways that you really have to look after, or other money that you have to put other places, is being spent on these side roads that could be in really good condition and not take much time. So maybe I would suggest that one of your staff contact the municipality and see the study they did a few years ago now, and see what the cost break-even point is. It might be worth looking at putting more money into that program over time, sort of catch them all up, and maybe get a payback on it that's worthwhile. Along the same lines, on that program, when you had the $50 million into it, it's my understanding that, and I'm only going to talk about Halifax Regional Municipality because that's the only one I'm familiar with, and the other ones would be the same with the question I'm going to ask, where the province pays 50% through the $1 million in the priority system as a municipality puts forward, which is a good system, and then the province picks up the other half of that amount, whatever it is, for a particular road. It is my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is something I really want an answer on, is, and if the minister can't provide the answer today, you can provide it to me later in writing if you don't mind. When a tender is called, the province calls a tender on these roads, does the engineering work, calls a tender, does the inspection work, and makes sure and pays the bill, and when the whole thing is all finished, invoices the municipality for the amount less than 50% the province has paid. Now, during that process, I understand that you put new ditches in, new culverts in, which were originally put in when the subdivision was built. You do the engineering cost on the project. You do the procurement cost on the project. You do the inspection cost on the project. All those costs then are all rolled in to the total cost for doing the project. So if it's a $200,000 section of road that's done, the province pays $100, the municipality pays $100. In reality, in the municipality, and I stress on the municipality, a regional municipality here in Halifax Regional Municipality, basically, I perceive that as the people that pay the frontage charge as paying again, partially paying again, for getting their ditches cleaned out, their new culverts put in, which is the responsibility of the province to do anyway under the maintenance program. And I understand that, you know, that you have restraints on what you can spend, but those people again are paying for that work to be done, and for the engineering costs and the other costs that go with that, that actually the people are paying more than 50% of the actual cost, because they've already paid for their property that included the road in front of their property and the culverts. Indeed, they might have had to pay for their own culvert when they put it in. So they're actually paying more than their 50% share that they would have to pay if the province eliminated those costs. Now, I know it means more cost to the province, but I think if the ratio could be adjusted slightly different to include the ditches and culverts on just a straight percentage basis, because every road is different, and I realize that, and the engineering costs, the inspection costs, and the procurement costs that would normally be done by staff anyway, to put it on a more balanced basis for the people who are paying the frontage, I think that would help. Now, that would mean that there would be fewer roads done with $1 million budget, but some of this money is in your budget anyway, where you pay staff that in procurement are paid anyway, the engineers are paid anyway, and you would have to do the culverts and ditches eventually anyway, so that would be costs that you would have. Could I have your views on that? And I would like also, when you give me the views, to confirm that indeed that you are paying to put these culverts in again and the ditches in again, and the things that should be over time, maybe not all at once, but the ditches to be cleaned out, new culverts put in as needed over time anyway.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Public Works.
Mr. Chairman, it's policy when we do a repave, whether it's on a provincial highway or a J-class road, that the culverts are normally replaced, the riprap is put in place, the ditches are cleaned out, and those things are done. It's not fair, however, to say that because when we do a J-class road and we do those things, that we would have done them anyway if we hadn't taken that road as a J-class road and paved it. In other words, what I'm saying is Mr. Smith has his culvert replaced when we paved that J-class road. If we didn't repave that J-class road, it might be several years down the road before we finally got around to replacing that culvert. Culverts last a long time, but we feel that when we're doing a repave, that it's a suitable time, because we are ditching and cutting up in front of people's places. We're going to have to pave up to their particular driveway if they have a paved driveway, and all those things. We might just as well put in new culverts. I would doubt very much that we could sort of extricate the additional costs that the member's referring to for engineering and design and the replacement, for instance, of culverts and riprap and the ditching that's done, etc. It would be quite complicated. I don't think there's any intention at the present time to take any action on that kind of process. It's an interesting concept and one that hadn't been brought forward before, but I don't think we're going to follow up on it this time.
Minister, the member for Preston.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. I thought that would be your answer. Well, that's fair enough. And you're right. When you go and you do new ditching, put new culverts in, that's very good, because it drains the road bed and the road will last longer. And it's a good investment. I'm not disputing that whatsoever. But the fact is you've already indicated that eventually, if a culvert goes and it's an approved one that was put in properly and it's not an illegal one that's just sort of stuck in by somebody, the department is responsible for maintaining those over the ditch area. And indeed, if it does collapse, like a lot of the old steel ones are rotting out in the bottom, eventually the department would have to pay to replace these anyway. So basically, the people are paying for this to be done when the road is paved. Now, nobody really complains about this because they're so pleased to get the road paved. so they don't complain about it. But it is a cost that they're paying for that really should be regular maintenance for the department, although it may be over 20, 30, 40 years, it's still there. So that is an issue. So I would ask you to take your staff to take that into consideration. And I'm not saying pave less roads here, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that we really got to look at the situation to see what can be done and done to help people as they're struggling to pay for all the other costs that they have with their properties and everything else. And I think we should go through and the culverts go in. I think that's one of the things that you'll find if you review the study that HRM done, and perhaps maybe the department could do a study on this sometime when they have an opportunity to see that that's probably one of the costs that you don't have to incur after that for many, many years. I'm going to ask you one more question, and hopefully, yeah, you should have time to answer this one. Why does the department still persist in using these lousy, and I use the word lousy, steel culverts when you got concrete ones and you got plastic ones? The plastic ones will last forever, absolutely forever. They're smooth on the inside, and typically if gravel gets in them, it washes right through them. And there's less cleanup, less maintenance, and probably the price, and I've quoted them, I've purchased some myself for some private property I have, and actually the plastic ones are the same price or cheaper than the steel ones. And the steel ones have got a corrugated bottom, they catch the gravel, and once the gravel's in there, they hold everything up. Could the minister let me know if they get any intention to go into the plastic ones so that reduce the cost so we'll have more money to spend on fixing roads?
Thank you, the Honourable Minister of Transportation.
Nice, simple question that I can answer, and I hope my voice lasts for another 2 or 3 minutes here. But we're not buying the steel culverts anymore. We're into plastic and concrete, to a lesser extent concrete, but primarily plastic these days. And the member's absolutely right. The old steel culverts, they were cheap and nasty, and they rusted out, and they also, because of their construction, impeded the flow of material that was like sediment through the pipe, resulting in a deposit in the pipe and an eventual blockage.
Thank you, Minister. The Honourable Member for Preston.
Well, thank you, Mr. Minister. That's a really positive move forward, because it is, and it's even more so than that with the plastic culvert. The plastic culverts, you can actually take a machine and dig it out. With the steel ones, as soon as you touch them, they either disintegrated or you got a tooth of a machine in the culvert and it was gone. So the plastic ones are a major improvement, and I'm pleased to see the department is going that way. I believe you have a lot of staff in your department that are really moving our technology forward, and that's very positive. I'm glad to see that. The other question I have, and you won't have time to answer it today, but maybe on Monday you can answer this, what I'll ask today, so you can think about it. What policies do you have if drainage is put through a person's property off the road, and there's no easement there from years ago when there wasn't easements, and now I know that there's probably easements on everything that goes through there. What policy do you use now, as a department, to use to make sure that the drainage doesn't cause property damage on people's property? And this is not to do with Teresa Court. This is just a general question. As it goes through people's property, and if those drainage systems fail, and if people don't have the resources to repair the drainage system that's there.
Thank you, Member, and the Honourable Minister has approximately 1 minute left in the supply.
In a minute, Mr. Chairman. The policy of the department hasn't changed. If it's private property, it's not our responsibility. If we have an easement, or when or a right of way, well then, Mr. Chairman, it is our responsibility.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, and there's about 30 seconds left. The member from Preston, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, and I want to thank the Minister for answering my questions today, and I know when the Minister gives a commitment, he means it, he'll follow through on it, and on behalf of the residents in Mineville and on Teresa Court, we look forward to whatever type of solution you can manage through the proper policies and procedures you have in your department. And It's been a pleasure asking you questions. On Monday, my honorable member from Annapolis will continue the debate in this regard.
Thank you. Time allotted for supply on Department of Transportation has expired for today. Recognize full. We're going to adjourn.
Okay.
Recognize the Honourable
We have to
Deputy
wait,
Premier.
yeah. Mr. Chairman, I move that your committee do recess for until what time? Until 1:35. Thank you. Agreed.
Order, please. Chairman of the Committee of the Whole House on Supply Reports.
Progress. Sit again.
Is it agreed? Agreed. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Speaker, I move that the House to now rise to meet again on Monday.
Sorry, order, please. Sorry. The Honourable Member of Kings North was requesting unanimous consent of the House. The Honourable Member of Kings North.
I'd like to request unanimous consent of the House for a short statement and a minute of silence afterwards.
Is it agreed? Agreed. Okay. The Honourable Member for Kings North.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to report that at 9 a.m. this morning, His Worship Mayor Gary Pearl, Mayor of the town of Kentville, died from cancer. Gary has lived the past 14 years with cancer, but this has not stopped him from exemplary service as a civil servant of this province, nor from serving as mayor for the town of Kentville for 3 terms of service. In his capacity as mayor, Gary has been widely respected and has been instrumental in more worthy community projects than I have time to name today. Since my election as MLA for the riding of Kings North, I've worked closely with Gary and consider him to be not only a political colleague, but also a good friend. He will be missed by the town of Kentville and far beyond. I wish to extend my sympathies to his wife Shirley, with whom I had the opportunity to have a moment of prayer earlier this week, and to Gary's children and to his parents. And I'd ask my provincial colleagues and thank them for the opportunity to ask them to rise for a moment of silence in honor of this.
Members to rise for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank the Honourable Member for that. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I move the House to now rise to meet again on Monday at the hour of 1 p.m. The House will sit from 1 until 9 p.m. The order of business after the daily routine will be 4 hours of supply, and at the end of that period we will have the 40 hours of supply completed, and we'll go through the process of the estimates, etc. And then we'll go into public bills for second reading. We'll start off with the Financial Measures Act, and then we'll deal with other bills on the order paper for second reading. And perhaps, Mr. Speaker, if there is time, we might put a few bills through under third reading as well. We have several on the order paper at the present time. So, Mr. Speaker, I move the House to now rise.
Motion is the House adjourned to 1 p.m. on Monday. Is it agreed? Agreed. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion is carried. The House adjourned to 1 p.m. Monday.